All right, I think we are live. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining our Self-Care Sunday today. I have a very special guest with us, and this is Dr. Deidre Mason, and she is the Vice President of Product Development. So thank you so much for joining us today.
I love this. This is true story. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. I think a lot of people that have had an opportunity to be a part of 28 days of skin, 28 days of health, or 28 days of weight loss, are familiar with how excited I get when I get to go live and talk about health, talk about well-being. But this one in particularly is really like right up my alley because it's about taking a break. It's about taking a breath. It's about Self-Care Sunday. You guys, everyone that's listening, Lee and I were talking a little bit earlier. I texted her and I wanted to be sure that she was cool with me not putting on makeup for our event and our talk and our Self-Care Sunday today. Because I shared with her, and I'm going to share with you, one of the things that I institute in my Self-Care Sunday, or any kind of self-care regimen, is I pick days where I don't wear makeup, where there's no drama, right? Where I'm not too extra. And Sundays are perfect days for me to not be too extra. And, but I wanted to make sure that was good since I was going to be face forward with all of you guys.
Okay, but I have to add into that because your skin looks so amazing. And that's the first thing I said. I'm like, I cannot believe you don't have makeup on because your skin is glowing. And I think that that's kind of the goal of everybody, right? To be able to have those days where you just don't do anything, but you're putting your fresh face forward, and it feels good. And so I can't wait, just to like hear some of your tips on, how you get your skin to look so amazing.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's one of the things that's really magical about what we're talking about today, because I think stand out, and it didn't occur to me until we were talking about, oh, should I put a face on? With one of the things that I love about these new LDV products, and I would say the line in general, but we really see it right now with these three products that we have that we're going to talk a little bit about today, is that they don't feel heavy, right? There's not a weight to my skin. Like there's nothing about them that feels extra. It's all about the nutritive to the skin.
That's a really good point because like you, I don't like the feeling of that. I don't like heaviness. I don't like, and you're right, these products do not give you that at all.
Not at all. And you would say like it kind of feels refreshing to use that word. It kind of feels refreshing to not put something on your face from a makeup standpoint. But a lot of people look at their hydration regimens like that. I mean, we know that we have day creams and night creams, and sometimes our night creams, not sometimes, they're always heavier than the day cream. And that's because we want to lock in that moisture. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the magical ways that you can do that. But it still also feels refreshing to be putting on a skin soother, in particular when we're talking about niacin or niacinamide. And I'll talk about why that's a particular benefit. And maybe what I should do right now, rather than just talk about like all the fun I'm having with refreshing skin, right? Is maybe go through some of those 1, 2, 3, and then obviously let everyone know what we're talking about today on Self-Care Sunday. We have 3 new refreshing products. That's going to be my new word for this. We have these new products. One is what we refer to as a skin soother. So it's a niacin B3 niacinamide skin soother. We have the hyaluronic acid times 3, and I'm going to explain to you why 3 or hyaluron 3. And then we have something that I'm not going to lie, I kind of like clawed my way into the office to see if I could get a sample of the Astaxanthin Lumiere de Vie overnight mask. So those are just to kind of like frame this for what we're doing today. We're going to talk about those 3 products, but I think along the lines of what you just said, Lee, about like, what do you do for glowing skin, whether it's at my age or any age,
right.
Is like hydration is king. right? Staying hydrated is so incredibly important if you want to have glowing skin. Moving is important. Exercise, lymphatics, right? Getting the muscles moving, the blood pumping, oxygen. That's what's happening. Oxygen is being carried to your tissues with movement. And I think a lot of people get confused between working out, exercise, movement, fitness, right? Because these words mean different things to different people. So this is getting up and moving. Is what I'm talking about right now. You can go and get your glow on at the gym, or if you're like me and you have a gym on your patio, you can go and get your glow on. You can go and get your sweat on. That's really important too. But really, this is just about moving, making sure that you get blood pumping, that you get lymphatics, which is the way your body detoxifies, and your muscles moving around lymphatic vessels, right? Full movement is what allows lymphatics to get pumped and your skin to feel very clarified. But that's really romantic when we think that's all you have to do, because of course we live in a pretty toxic world. And one of the big things that we have to deal with is not just the hydration factor, but many of the things that are a part of our daily lives are stealing some of that hydration factor. UV rays are a big part of that. So just being outside, I just talked about, I work out on my gym, or I work out on my patio. That's enough for me to be like, what added protection am I going to do? Now you add in things like advancing years. And I think a lot of people see advancing years as a woman or a man in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And I think it's important for us to understand that in mid 30s, early 40s, hormones change drastically for both men and women, and you will see it in your skin, but you'll also see it in your ability to have turgor in your skin, this suppleness, this fullness, that sort of thing. So I want to just add one other thing before we talk about the products, and that is that protein's really important for aging skin. No one wants saggy skin, right? No one wants the wiggle and the jiggle. No one wants I don't want to say the jowls, because some people have them naturally. My mother gave them to me, which is why I often you'll see me talking like this to you. Right? But those little things happen. As glowing as you say that my skin is, right? And as beautiful as we are taking care of ourselves on this self-care Sunday, we do have those little things we have to pay attention. Gravity, age, pollution, UV rays, some of the new to nature chemicals that have found our way into our food and our water. These are the reasons why we add in treatment.
Well, and I love that you're bringing this up, because I don't think that a lot of people really think about all of that. And, that it all does factor in with what you're doing. So we can't just always expect to start using skincare when we're not maybe doing some other things that help from the inside.
You know what? That's perfect the way you've just phrased that, because we've there's that fun turn of phrase, beautiful skin from within. Right. The idea of healthy skin begins within, that kind of adage, but we really have to embrace that, right? Mm-hmm. There are two products that we have today, and you didn't know you were going to fall right into this, you fell into my trap. No, but that's exactly right. There's actually two products, and I guess I could say all three of them fall into this category, but two of them really solidly. Astaxanthin and hyaluronic acid are two products that clinically, or two ingredients found in nature that clinically you can show enhancement or amplification when you're using them both orally as well as topically. The skin is a bunch of layers, and penetration into that skin is a difficult thing to do. But there are certain ingredients that are just made to do that. Astaxanthin and natural hyaluronic acid, sodium PCA, the niacinamide, the B vitamins, these are some of them that are naturally, because they naturally occur in the skin, they're naturally created in the skin. they tend to have such an affinity that penetration is a lot easier with them. But it doesn't penetrate throughout the entire skin without pulling up from the inside. And that's why oral nutrition, not just hydration, is so powerful. So let's do that real quick. When we think about nutrition from the inside and skin health from the inside, it does, protein is really important. Peptides are what make hormones. Peptides are what allow your skin to have that youthfulness, that structure, that barrier, that pull, that buttress. That's all peptides, right? So your diet does matter. But as we age, we can start to see just mechanisms of wear and tear on the body are eating up those peptides a little bit faster, meaning we've got to think about how we're going to improve our diet, right? Maybe have a higher commitment to diet, but we're also going to think about what else can I add from a nutrient supplement standpoint, something that like vitamin C that helps me naturally create collagen, minerals and peptides that naturally are part of hyaluronic acid's natural production in my body. Utilizing an actual oral hyaluronate supplement. And that's why we built the beauty blend the way we did, with antioxidants, with oral hyaluronate, so that you could actually get some of that buoyancy and that turgor back. But now we want to talk about the hyaluronic acid ×3, right? Because that product is a serum, right? That sort of thing is, these easy drops that you can add to directly to, and I don't have anything on my skin, so I can do this, right? Add directly onto my skin. I can do it safely around the eyes. I can add it to a moisturizer if I wanted to. I can add it to one of my other treatments if I want to do that. But what I want you guys to know about hyaluronic acid, or it's also known as hyaluron, is that your body naturally creates it. And that's why you can look at, we think of like cherub baby skin, youthful skin, because we're very rich in hyaluron, these peptides in youth, but they start to degrade. Our own production of them goes down as we age. Our ability to like keep up with the wear and tear on the body starts to slow down, and not their production. I mean, the production does slow down, but it just starts to, supply and demand just aren't in the right balance, right? But then we think about just the natural aging process, and that's the slowing down that I'm talking about. So we want to think about all of those things as, now I need to supplement this orally, but I want to put it on my skin as well. Nutrition plays a key role in you being able to utilize a topical hyaluron. Water or hydration does, but really, what is the mechanism here and why do you want to do it? Hyaluronic acid is able to literally pull in and hold on to moisture. So that hydration is necessary for that suppleness of the, or that smoothing of the skin. Listen, if you stay well hydrated, your skin does tend to smooth out. What's really different about hyaluron in this case, or hyaluronic acid in this case, is that it's not just a hydrator in that it can pull hydration. It's actually a peptide. It's actually these building blocks of the structure of the skin that allow for that suppleness. So it's more than just smoothing out the skin due to holding on to hydration and improving hydration factors. It's literally a restructuring of the skin. And when we do it both orally and topically, we're going to get that amplification and that restructuring and that more youthfulness of the skin. That's why hyaluronic acid is used for plumping lips or fine lines around the lips. It's why it's used from an injection standpoint to pull up. It's injected here around the upper cheeks, not to give you bigger cheekbones, although that's a component of a lot of injections, but to actually pull this up because it increases structure as well as hydration. So that's something I want us to understand, is that it's putting back what was lost due to youth or lost due to age, or what we want to regain to have that more youthful skin.
And I love how you explain that, because it really makes sense when you explain it that way. Because you do think of like baby skin and how like plump and like buoyant it is. And then you think of, you know, all the different age groups, and you can kind of see how that does diminish over time.
And that's where you see that kind of sag. And I hate to use that word, because I think age is beautiful on so many people, right? So it's not really about age so much of it is about health. I'm okay that my skin looks mature. I just want it to also look healthy.
Yeah.
And the way you get your skin to look healthy is stay hydrated. Use topical applications that help with that hydration, that can help with the restructuring or the buoyancy. That was a great word, because that's exactly how hyaluronic acid is used orally in your joints for that buoyancy. Hyaluronic acid is used orally by ophthalmologists and optometrists because we lose volume in the back of the eye, but also because of its hydration factor. Hyaluronic acid is very good when we think about dry eye situations, and that all comes with age. So I want you to really think about the hyaluron in that regard. Now, there are other things that make the hyaluronic acid or the hydrate 3 additionally powerful. And one of those things is that there's sodium PCA in the product. And sodium PCA is another ingredient that is, you guys are going to love this magical little thing you're about to learn, is like hyaluron, where it can hold on to fluid. But it's actually, we call it sodium PCA, but it's actually a component of an amino acid called proline. And proline is the magical ingredient that is in collagen. So that's why sodium PCA is found in so many products, because it's a component of the peptide proline, and proline, hydroxyproline, and glycine. These are the amino acids that build collagen. Mm-hmm. So when we think about, again, that restructuring, you just need the building parts. Like, I can have a construction crew come over all I want to build a house, but if they don't have the wood, the bricks, the mortar, the nails, the jazz, right, they can't actually build it. And that's one of the things that's magical about sodium PCA, is that it's a builder, because it's the component of proline. So there's a lot of reasons to be using this particular topical in both youth, as well as in an age or more maturing skin. Now, I just checked something, because I realized that one of the magical sodium PCAs is actually in the Skin Soother. So I want to go into that. That proline component is in the Skin Soother. But let me check one note here, because I did these in a different order, and I want to make sure that I give you one of the other magical things I knew about the hyaluronic acid. Okay, so when we talked about hyaluron or hydrate 3, what I missed letting you know about was the 3 molecular weights. Why did we call it hydrate 3, right? The 3 molecular weights. So a small, medium, and large kind of thing. That's also about that penetration. That different layers of the skin is one of the reasons why the renewal serum with Lumiere to be is as powerful as it is as well, because it has different molecular weight oils in it for aging skin, for youthful skin, but also to get to different areas of the skin, different kind of factors of hydration. So let me back up a minute, because I did misspeak, and I want to apologize for that. The reason why the hydrate 3 is as powerful as it is one of the reasons why we've mixed it in this regimen, or we've brought these products out together, is because of the Skin Soother. The Skin Soother has Aquacel in it, which is some fruit acids mixed with sodium PCA. And that PCA, as I said, is a component of proline, and proline is a component of collagen. Okay. But the magic ingredient in the Skin Soother, and why we want it mixed with a hyaluron or a hydrate type 3 is because niacinamide, in case you guys didn't know, it's a part of natural baby creams. It's a part of like when we want to, baby skin is very thin. And we want to have a very sound barrier for that skin. And niacinamide has been shown to be very, very beneficial for creating a healthier barrier on thin skin, on baby's skin, especially if we're worried about the elements damaging the skin or irritating the skin. And that's really what we're talking about right now, right? Is irritation. A lot of people need to calm their skin down. Maybe they are putting on a product that's not, they feel like they need a skin purge. We kind of talked a little bit about that indirectly, where it's like part of your self-care might be using a clean face all day. Some people really feel like they need to purge their skin. Niacinamide is one of those things that's been shown to help kind of detoxify the skin. It's not like charcoal where it pulls things out. I should tell you guys sometimes about my tips that I do. I put the Shopee Annuity charcoal shaving cream on my face for this reason, to pull out impurities.
That's a good tip. So,
yeah. Oh, I listen, I'm in love. It smells really good too. But, so this isn't like charcoal, like pulling things out, but the actual activity of niacinamide on the skin is healthy cell turnover. So in youthful skin and very thin skin, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to repair skin. We're trying to grow skin cells, right? Well, I've often been heard to say anything you do for youth, you need to do in age, right? Anything we do to help grow healthy brains, healthy eyes, a healthy nervous system, healthy skin, a healthy immune system, you need to also do to maintain those things in age. Yeah. Because also with age, your skin starts to thin. And with loss of estrogen, skin starts to thin. With loss of these peptides like hyaluron or healthy proteins in your diet, or just simply eating them up too quickly, skin starts to thin. And so that's one of the reasons why the skin soothers, as powerful as it is, it uses fruit extracts. It has sodium PCA, but it has the magical niacin, or that's also B3 or vitamin B3, in this case, a niacinamide skin soother, because niacin has been shown to be very beneficial when it comes to irritated skin, skin that flushes really easy, skin that due to lack of hydration, age, or exposure tends to become very dry, very flaky. These are all the places where niacinamide is like super powerful, right? But what's really nice about the skin soother, besides the mixture of the fruit extracts, which can be this very mild exfoliant to kind of pull up the dry skin, the niacinamide that creates that barrier, that supports that healing, that healthy cell renewal or cell turnover. There's also aloin in this, and that allotonin rather, and that comes from the comfrey plant. Comfrey is used in ancient rituals. That sounds scary, so let's reframe that. Let's reword that. It's been used in home medicine for centuries. Comfrey is that thing that you go and you pull out of your garden. You think it's a weed, but it has rosmarinic acid and this allotonin in it that makes a compound that is shown to heal the skin, whether it's like an abrasion or an irritation, because your skin is easily irritated, because your skin is purging, you easily flush, you have very easy to agitate skin. You don't have a good skin barrier is really what this comes down to. And why you don't have a skin barrier is due to a lot of different reasons. But a lot of people will say, there's so many things I can't do. Oh, I can't put that on my face because I just seem to react to everything, right? Mm-hmm. So let's get down and deep into the skin, right? Not just from the oral standpoint that you brought up, skin health from within or glowing skin from within, but also what can you do topically that can just calm that skin down? And that skin soother is one of the things that you can use, because those fruit extracts are beneficial. That sodium PCA, that's a proline contributor, is helpful. Niacinamide is wildly beneficial and very well regarded in the dermatology circles. Is that thing that's going to calm down dry, irritated, flaky, overexposed, overly irritated, or your own skin due to your own immune system may be leading where you start to see that come out in your skin. So it's very soothing in that regard. Before we talk about the mask, I just want to talk about the power of these two products together. The reason why it was easy for me to get confused about the proline or the PCA in on the Hydrate 3 is because these two ingredients, these two components, are frequently found together in dermatologic approaches. We want to make sure that we're putting those peptides in, but that we're also doing things that kind of have a very quick way of calming the skin down, improving skin comfort. And that's why we call that a skin soother. They are not applied together, however. They can be applied in next to each other, but they're not actually, it's not, I had mentioned that with the Hydrate 3, you could put that in something like your day cream or another serum that you wanted to use. These two actually would get applied in different layers, though. You wouldn't want to put them on. And I'm a big fan of asking people to put their things on in different layers, let them dry, let them adhere, let them sink in. Don't mix up that chemistry. I think actually I've asked you before, when it comes to custom health or custom blends, can't I just add copper peptides to my any formula, any serum I want, because copper is so good for the skin? And you're like, no, I mean, like, not everything can mix, not everything plays well together. They can, again, be in a serial approach, but not everything can be mixed together. They'll react, or they'll bind to each other, and you want them to bind to you. So with the skin soother, you're going to apply that to dry skin. And because we want it to calm things down, it can be one of the first things that you do. I happen to be a big fan of the Lumiere de Vie Renewal Jelly. This is the astaxanthin. Again, very powerful antioxidant. Its idea is penetration into the skin. So I personally like to put this on first, but I would let my skin dry and use a skin soother. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's unique to me. That I am someone that flushes really easily. I do get red. And so I also like the idea of the skin soother coming on after one of those applications where I feel like I'm going to get a little bit fiery, right? And antioxidants can do that to the skin. The nice thing about the skin soother is it's a 10% niacinamide. So you've got enough there to be effective. But you can use a little bit less if you feel like you want to get started a little bit with a softer touch. But we did make sure that there was enough to where the dermatologists were going to respect this product with the 10% niacinamide. I really like the idea of letting the jelly dry and then putting on the skin soother as somewhat of a calming. And then because I can add the Hydrate 3 to a moisturizer, I can make sure that it's applied wet, because that one doesn't want to be applied to dry skin. It wants to be applied to a wet skin for that adherence. I'm going to tell you just one of my quick tips for how I do that as well. The Lumiere de Vie Ohms, these pads are magical.
Those are my favorite right now. Like, I am religious about using those every single morning.
Yeah. So these are toner pads in a very sexy black container. But I love the size of these pads. I love the smell of these pads. I love the feel of these pads. And this is something from a Cleanse, Tone, Moisturize. I like this toner and then the Hydrate 3 right on top of it. Right? Because my skin is still wet with this.
That's how I've been applying it. And you actually use an entire Like you fill this whole thing up and you can use an entire pipette on your skin and it does absorb in pretty fast. Like it does not take long at all for that to happen. And something I wanted to point out too is I tend to be a little bit more combination oily skin.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people with my skin type, they're like, well, I don't really need hydration. When in fact, you actually do need hydration.
You really need it. Exactly.
So this product is perfect for all skin types, whether you're dry, normal, combination, oily. We all need that hydration in our skin.
Right. That is the common denominator, right? That's the common currency of skin, hydration. Someone that is prone to sebum, they're prone to oil production, that, you know, they may describe it as oily skin, or they feel like they're combination skin, as you described it. That is simply the body, the skin calling out, saying, listen, I'm in a hyperproduction mode right now because you, my friend, are not hydrated enough. And that doesn't mean that you don't drink enough water. It means that we do have different skin types. We have different cell turnover. We live in different environments and we get exposed to different things. And those are all, we have to pay attention to that combination. We have to pay attention to sleep. How well are you sleeping? That has a huge impact on your skin. So absolutely. So, you know, with age, we see dry skin. With combination of oily skin, that's actually a sign of dry skin. And when your body is exposed to the elements a lot, that's going to just get your body to cry out for more hydration. So I agree with you. The common currency of skin is I need to be hydrated. And so hyaluronic acid, or we're referring to it as Hydrate 3, is not just science-based in that your skin produces hyaluronic acid. It starts to decrease as you age. But that we made sure to do this 3% in 3 different weights so that we could get that much better penetration. You mentioned how quickly it absorbs. Hyaluronic acid has a very natural affinity for the skin. And so you are going to see it penetrate. But you're going to see something like this penetrate better. Sometimes like glycolic acids are used to help with that. And listen, glycerin is great for the skin, right? But in this case, we were able to rely on the mechanism of those 3 together, just the 3 molecular weights. Now, I brought up sleep, and that's where a lot of repair happens. You hear people say that, but it's funny how we compartmentalize and we go, oh, well, your body repairs while it's sleeping. And we think of that from an aging standpoint. We think about that from a nervous system standpoint. We think about that from a bone building standpoint. And for some reason, people put skin in this box over here and don't appreciate that skin renewal also happens while you sleep. And hydration is still that factor. That's why the renewal mask, the overnight mask is just that. It's an overnight mask. Why put on an overnight mask? Why not like what we've thought about where it's a volcanic mask or an aloe mask or, these, our masks, as we think of them right now with the peptides and the serums and let them seep into the skin. Well, what you're doing with an overnight mask is you are allowing this like hashtag lock it in. You're locking in hydration, right? When you leave a mask on and don't take it off, first off, they're deeply hydrating. And so that's really important. Because that's where we're going to get this repair. But when you have a heavier mask that can stay on all night, like a deep penetrating cream, you've got something that's going to lock in that hydration. But also when you do something like astaxanthin from its antioxidant standpoint, but actually from its skin building standpoint, you've got what you're locking in is something that's going in there and doing some of the construction. Studies on astaxanthin show that thinning skin starts to improve. It's not the barrier so much that gets improved. That's where that skin soother is so powerful, because that's what's creating that barrier. But you actually start to see skin improvement in skin depth. And that's important because when we think about fine lines and wrinkles, we think about them in line length and we think about them in line depth, right? So when we can, if you can just imagine that that's the line there, right? When we can start thinking about improving skin depth here, we're going to push that up and we're going to see less fine lines and wrinkles. We're going to lock in this hydration. We're going to see the value of astaxanthin being able to do its job over time. And I think that's probably the most important thing about an overnight mask is you're simply allowing these nutrients a longer time to penetrate. You're allowing these nutrients a longer time to do their rebuilding. And you're kind of locking all of that hydration in so that repair can actually happen. I've wonderful things to say about it. You use it 2-3 times a week. It would be in place of your nighttime moisturizer. You're not going to put a nighttime moisturizer on and then put the mask on, but you're going to use it in place of that nighttime moisturizer, but not in place of the things that we've just talked about, the cleanse and the toning, the serums, the repair. Right? You still want to use the Hydrate 3 twice a day, right? You still want to get the good stuff in. You're definitely going to do that prior to putting on the mask. I would like to see, like, as we talk about putting it on wet skin, right? From that cleansing standpoint, toning, allowing your skin to still be wet with the toner, apply your Hydrate 3. You can obviously do other night serums that you're doing within the Lumiere de Vie or the cellular line, but then you're going to lock it in with that mask. And you're going to do that at least twice a week.
And I'm glad that you shared that because I feel like this overnight mask is sort of a new concept for a lot of people. And so knowing how to apply it, when to apply it, and that you can still apply your treatments. I know that was a big question for a lot of people. And it's not like a thick mask that you can like see on your face.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So if you want to maybe just, share that where it's not going to feel like you have, something heavy on your skin when you go to bed.
No. And I do want you to give yourself enough time to let your mask dry. Like, I don't want it to be this thing that you put on and then you run and you like lay on your white silk pillow. Right. We've got these great tools that from an application standpoint, these kind of spa brushes, again, like perfect for self-care Sunday, but I actually save my Lumiere de Vie Jelly spatula. And I use that for now, all of my stuff. I was like, well, I've got this handy little tool. It doesn't matter what my day cream. I'm a big timeless person. I will use this to, now I'm like, why would I put my fingers in that anymore? I have spatulas now, right? And that's where it's going to be really fun when we have all of the proper application tools, but I'm just going to do this. So I've just got the mask here, right? And you can see that because it's a cream mask, it's going to penetrate a whole lot easier than we think of like a lot of gel masks. When we think of, this is very like and kind to a deep moisturizer, just happens to be a little bit deeper. But when we think about that, me rubbing it into my skin now, it's too much for what I just did, to show you the back of my little baby hand. But you can see there, obviously, I don't look like I have I look like I have a milk mask on. I don't look like I have a clay mask on, right? It's very penetrating. I'm not leaving anything. And there's something I feel like I could peel up or flake off or dry out at all. You do want to allow it to, I'm masking my hands.
Yeah. And that's actually a good point. Don't forget about your hands or even your neck and, your décolleté. I mean, get all of that because a lot of times we neglect that. We pay so much attention to our face and we forget about the other areas that do age as well.
I'm glad that you brought that up because we've done paraffin baths on our hands and on our feet. We've done masks on our hands and our feet. think about those, those areas where you may want to nighttime mask as well. Astaxanthin does have a pigment to it. And that's why you want this to dry before you lay down on your pillow. So do give yourself enough time for that, but absolutely think of other places you need to be utilizing it. I often get asked about the neck and our incredible neck cream and things that we can do to enhance that. This would be one of the things that I would do to enhance that. Simply because the nature is to be very deep penetrating into the skin. I think there's a lot of serums that we think of, like needle free is a great one that people want to know, well, would it just help everywhere? And I want you to remember that this is, that this is gravity driven. Part of this is gravity driven. Obviously, if you're a yapper like me, it's also mechanical, that there's going to be a lot of movement here. And so I want you to think of restructuring, building buttress when you think about the neck. And that's why I like the idea of this like long-term mask that can be there. Probably when I think about the number one complaint that women have of their décolleté, it's not just discoloration, which is where I do want to point out the Skin Soother is really, really powerful when it comes to people. It's not so much hyperpigmentation, but where there's irritation, there's also going to be pigmentation. There's going to be, for some women and men, it's going to just be straight up redness. But for others, it's like there's always this place that's just a little bit darker than the other places, because that's just where there's a lot of cell, like what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. So when we want to improve that cell turnover, especially when we're thinking about like dark areas, maybe a patch that's a particular problem for you, that Skin Soother can be really helpful in that. But when I think about this area on most women, due to pendulous breasts or weight of the breast, just gravity in general, they're real concerned about whether it's crepe paper or just that pull that we get through here. And so something that's built for structure, right? I think is important. I definitely would think also about putting the Hydrate 3 here. But the length of time that the Lumiere de Vie Renewal Mask sits on the skin, I think is also, like, from a time standpoint, I think is, I'm going to add it to that list. A lot of us love Pentaxel for this reason, because it's such a heavy peptide builder. It's 5 peptides. And so it's such a heavy cream that it's like a perfect place here. But it's not perfect to put something as heavy here all the time. And that's why this hyaluronic acid, this Hydrate 3, is so powerful for here, because you're going to get those peptides. That's why the Skin Soother with the fruit extracts and the sodium PCA is so good here, right? As well, because we're concerned about thinning skin. We're concerned about a healthy barrier function. We're concerned about hydration. We're concerned about having as I joked about, like, the construction crew can show up, but they need the bricks and the wood and all of that stuff to build it. And that's where these ingredients come in, because they're the ones that are going to build us back into that, like what we had in youth, but what we lose in age, or we lose due to diet, or we lose due to UV rays, or we lose due to the environment, or we lose due to exercise. I don't want to take that away from anybody. If you're a runner, you are, we tend to see a lack of, like, kind of that, we see incredible efficiency in the body in a runner, but we don't see that kind of robustness of the muscles, that muscle structure all the time. We do, like, she's running her face off, she's running her ass off, she's running, literally, right? So let's think about, pulling those things back in. And so even fitness, ironically, can be one of those things. It's like, are you repairing enough? Because your fitness is going to steal your reserves. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. You've got to make sure you've got enough building blocks to be able to exercise at that rate, still recover, still repair, still build. And that's why with age, these builders are so important. And your skin, I hate to tell you this, you guys, your skin is the last thing your body cares about. It wants you to have a healthy barrier, which is sometimes why we get like plaques and a buildup or calluses like that. That's your body being like, okay, I got to protect him or her, right? But when all is said and done, if you have a limited pool of protein, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, your body will do everything it can to give that to your heart and your brain before it gives it to anything else. So you've got to have a strategic plan for your skin.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad that you said that too, because again, I feel like it's not something that people really think about, and they should.
I always manage to talk way over my time. Do we have questions?
Actually, everybody's just really loving it. One thing I did want to point out is right now, you can actually get the Renewal Overnight Mask as well as the Hydrate 3. It's available now. And the niacinamide will be available very soon, but you can pre-order it. So if you pre-order it, you're the first to get them. They send them out to you first. And so I'm actually excited to get it because I haven't even had a chance to use it or try it on my skin. And I know that my skin will love it because I tend to have that type of skin you were talking about. But, and then we also have our skincare brushes. They will be launched soon as well. So I know, Dr. Deidre, you talked about tools and things like that, but we will also have brushes that you can use to apply all of your serums, your masks, your, moisturizer. And that will also help for, on top of the spatulas too. You can also use those. And those are available for pre-sale as well.
Exactly. I'm so glad that we're doing the spa tools this way, these brushes, because everyone knows that they need to clean their makeup brushes, right? Probably more often than you are.
Yeah.
And you need to clean your makeup brushes. We know that that's sound practice. And, when you think about formulas that really do what they say they're going to do, that comes at a cost of high quality ingredients. And so we want to make sure that we're also treating these serums and our creams and such in a respectful way, that we're not putting them in a position of contamination. That's one of the reasons why I love these containers, in particular with the astaxanthin. It's an antioxidant, and it will do its best to quench free radicals. So I want you guys to push this or make it tight, right? So that it doesn't get exposed to air, where the antioxidants that are in the cream want to instead do something about quenching free radicals that are in the environment around them. But we have to appreciate that when we stick our hands in things, we are also introducing, whether it's bacteria, oils, things that are going to start to eat up its active ingredients. So these tools are really fantastic for that reason. When you see your esthetician, when you see someone doing, when you went through school, Lee, right, you were taught this clean technique, right? And we can bring that home. It's not just for professionals. The longevity of a formula is very much about the way you treat it, right? And, so screw your caps down tight. You do this with your mascara. Why would you not do? Oh, I absolutely. You're absolutely
right. So you guys, when you get these products, the mask and the Renewal Gelée, it has a little, I don't know, a seal on it.
Yeah, it's got a foil seal on it.
Yeah, right. Pry that away just a little bit. Right. Because that will keep it from drying out as well. And you only need it to open like a quarter of the way or an eighth of the way.
Yeah. So that's all I do with my jelly is it's got a lip on it. So it's not enough that I could accidentally rip it off, but it's enough that I can get in there when I need to. And then what's nice is that my spatula just stays in here, just goes on top of the foil, and I never lose my spatula. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of that. You'll see that happen with the toner pads as well, is that they have again, something that's going to keep them very sound, right? So that's the other thing I want everyone to pay attention to, is that we're thinking of things that are going to kind of respect your investment in your skin and in you, right? That's a nice idea for Self-Care Sunday. Respect your investment, right? You are your own investment. Invest in yourself.
And that's really what it's all about. And just in closing, I know there's, with us introducing more and more serums and options, sometimes it's hard to know the order to apply them in or what's all available. We do have our daily skin regimen guide. And it does have, a little bit about each of the products, the order that you can apply them as well. But when all comes to shove, just get it on your skin, don't get so like stuck always in the order. This is a great guide, but maybe you're mixing in other lines and you're not really sure, thinnest to thickest is kind of a rule of thumb. But print these out and have this. I love using these with my clients, even to share with them when they do purchase some of the products, and that way they can see what's all available too. But just another great resource that we do have. But I just really appreciate you being here on a Sunday and, just sharing all of your knowledge, because every time I hear you speak, I learn so much. And it's incredible that you're just have all this knowledge in your brain and you share it with us so that we can be more knowledgeable about the products too.
Yeah, no, these are, again, thank you for that. And they're fantastic products. They're very much driven by the physiology of skin, the biology of how we age, how we can slow down the progression of aging. These are, in particular, through the Lumiere de Vie line, you see this truly innovative formulations, like very much like, it's not about trending. Like our makeup is very much about what's trending. This is very much about that science and nature and how they come together. The Lumiere de Vie line is very, very good at displaying that beautiful synergy between science and nature.
I love that. And I'm really excited about all of the products we talked about, because I think that they're all game changers. And, I get excited about all of our new products, obviously, but these in particular, because I know that those of you that start using them, take a before picture, because I wish I had a penny for every time someone said, I wish I would have taken a before picture, because my results are amazing. And so take a before picture and monitor your results and, share it with everybody too, so we can kind of cheer you on it and see what these products are doing for you. So thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate you. And, we'll have to have you back for a future session if you're up.
Give me more time.
Yeah.
And that's not meant to be like you didn't give me enough time. I'm ridiculous. I would just keep talking if you let me.
You're always welcome. Trust me, you're always welcome. So whenever you want to come speak with us, we will take it and we'll absorb it all in.
Good deal. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too. Bye, everybody.